All right, three, two, one. All right, y'all. Welcome to Oops Chatter.
Oops.
Um, it's a good time with the boys. Well, I mean, I guess it is boys, but it's just two of us. So
Who knows? It might
I
just be us,
guess
but
it's,
good
it's the
time
same.
anyway.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're just here, and let's just get it started. Let's just get into it. So first things first, we got Knicks winning the NBA Finals 4-1. Brunson with the Finals MVP. Um, Congratulations to the city of New York, not for the destruction and the chaos, but for the championship. We do not condone violence or looting or anything like that, but you know, go crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Go crazy to an extent, but
But
it's good to see New York have that championship. They for as big of a market, 53 years is a crazy amount of time to not win an NBA championship. Especially Lakers, Celtics have won several, and they're a comparable market. So it's good to see that they finally got a ring.
yeah, I'm definitely not mad about them winning the finals. But man, I think if you're a Spurs fan, you gotta be mad because your team. I mean, if the every game ended in the third quarter, obviously that's not how basketball works. But if that was the case, it would have been a sweep for the Spurs. I mean, they led by double digits at halftime in every single game, and they managed to only win one game in the entire series. I mean, like Wemby even talked about it, like in his post game interview, where he said, like, I just didn't expect to be like punished severely for like just little mistakes, and I think that's what it ultimately led to. And I don't think Wemby is to blame. I don't think you can put it down to one person. Even I don't think you could even put on De'Aaron Fox either, which I mean is probably controversial to say, but you can see that it was like collectively as a team, everyone except for Dylan Harper is the reason why
They lost. Yeah.
they lost. Truthfully,
Yeah.
but
No, I think that inexperience really showed. Um, Not only with the players but coaching. You could tell this is Mitch Johnson's first playoffs and how he coached. Um, I don't doubt his potential as a coach, but that was a rough showing. Uh, and more so, just game of his game management. I didn't think was very good. His substitutions, leaving guys out when they weren't playing very good, such as De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson. Like, I get that those are your veterans, but like they really hurt the team at some points. And you had other guys performing better, but I mean, it's also not being able to run effective plays when your team needs to slow the game down. I get the modern NBA likes to play fast, and fast is often leads to success on offense. But a lot of the time, Spurs just needed to slow things down and get an easy bucket, and they often do that in the first half, and then they just kind of get gassed and they start playing very sloppy, and it makes it easy for New York to make these comebacks. So I think Mitch Johnson's really got to improve if the Spurs are going to go anywhere, and I think it's no room to panic for the Spurs. You have a great core, and I mean, like if you keep De'Aaron Fox next year, I still think you're going to be a great team, and you could win it all. It's like you said, it's not one player, but everybody on that team needs to do some small things to get a little bit better. If they do, they're going to win it easy.
yeah, no, I agree. And you mentioned keeping Fox. A lot of teams, a lot of well, not teams, I'd say a lot of people on the internet and just kind of speculation. People are thinking that De'Aaron Fox could potentially be a trade, asked like a trade that the Spurs pursue, and maybe is Dylan Harper kind of the better fit at the one for your team? Is he obviously Fox is a great veteran presence on your team, and he just had the ultimate stinker. I mean, just a generational crap run of a finals. Like I don't think I've ever seen a collapse like he's had. I mean, when he was playing for when he was on the Kings and there's a like the beam, years or year. um, I mean, Fox was fantastic. I mean, he's the
Yeah,
reason. I mean, him and Sabonis, obviously, Sabonis was a big contributor to that team, but Fox was a major reason why, if not the reason why they, had their playoff success and that with the Kings that year. So, like, do you trade Fox and try and get some piece? I've seen people saying that like you could trade for like a shooter like Michael Porter Jr., which I don't. I've seen that, which I don't know. I'm personally the impression that you just keep Fox and
Yeah,
let him mentor Dylan Harper because they actually have a very similar play style, in my
yeah,
opinion. Dylan Harper's
I,
I think Harper will probably be a better outside shooter than Fox will be,
yeah,
but I think Dylan Harper is a great young piece that you should definitely, you know, look for him to be that franchise point guard on your team or shooting guard or like, have a Fox or not Fox, a backcourt of Harper and a Castle.
yeah.
So, and at that point, I just think you just keep Fox. I mean, he's got a huge contract. You're not going to be able to move him, especially right now where maybe there's teams that might value him still, but a lot of teams probably don't value him. It's kind of like a Jalen Duren situation where, you know, he's not going to be worth the money
Yeah,
that you're going to be like that you're going to be locked up with him. And
yeah.
maybe he'll have a bounce back, regular season and kind of prove the haters wrong. But I think
I,
as far as trading Fox goes, I think the Spurs would kind of be dumb to trade him because if they did want to trade him at any point, wait for him to like at least perform
increase
better in the
value.
regular season or something. And if you are wanting to trade him that badly because Dylan Harper is just a better, he's just showing some progression and showing that he could be that franchise point guard for you, then trade him at like the trade deadline or something instead of, doing it during the off season. Kind of hold on and see
I
what your
think
team can do.
I think you do need to give him a little bit more time. Like you said, I think you got to recoup his trade value, one, but two, uh, it this was one like series, and I know he wasn't like stellar in the other series, but he wasn't bad. He's playing through an ankle injury, and so you don't know how much that affected everything. And I think this core has to gel together. Um, and a lot of teams who win championships often lose with the same core that they win with. And I mean, you look at OKC, they get out second round versus the Mavericks, and they make some minor changes. It doesn't need to be a crazy big trade to get there. Like I think the Spurs are one or two minor spots away from being able to win it all and with ease. I've been seeing a lot of rumors that like Rui Hashimura would be a great fit for this team for at power forward or small forward or even off the bench. And it's like that's like a kind of move that you can make as San Antonio that will make your team so much better. But it's not like a crazy like Rui Hashimura is a great player, but he's not like doing this crazy like Giannis trade. He's not Giannis, but
Right.
he's enough for to get the Spurs over that hump or something like that. Um,
Right.
you got to test out Cornette too. I think Cornette played really well in the regular season, but it was kind of lackluster in the playoffs. And so it's like maybe you're a little bit better of a center away to back up Wemby so he's not so gassed in the fourth quarter and not making those simple mistakes that you could tell he was fatigued, right? And the whole team was. It's like maybe it's just a little thing with the depth, but I don't think it's reason to panic. I guess like you said, I don't think you trade De'Aaron Fox. I don't think you're at that spot. The Spurs like let him be on the team for a little longer, and a lot of your young guys' big contracts, like Wemby's extension, won't kick in until the following year, and so it's like his big contract's not going to affect you too much next year. Um, but maybe if he has another like poor showing, maybe you look to do something. But at the moment, I think you sit tight and just kind of like, yeah, it sucks you lost the finals, but you have a bright future. No need to panic.
Right, exactly. I think honestly, I think if you're the Spurs, you just run it back. Add a guy maybe that like a Rui Hachimura or someone on the bench that can add a little bit more veteran presence because I think that's what really the Spurs. Even Wemby said it himself. That they just didn't have the experience. They just weren't never been in those situations before. And I think that's what really, you speak about these NBA, like the Knicks, part of their success this playoffs is because they are a team of veterans. There's not a lot of young players on that team at all. I don't think there's a single one that got minutes in the finals. So it's like, and I think that's where the Spurs are at. I think the Spurs are a fantastic team, and they'll probably win the West again next year. That's what I think will happen. I think that you know if Dylan Harper. I think a lot of their success next year depends upon Dylan Harper and his progression. Because I think if you, and then also Stephon Castle being his third year, Wemby will be in his fourth. Like, you will have a good team that is a little more experienced, has these, has gone through these hard times in the playoffs. Gone through the struggle of losing a finals. I mean, look at the Knicks last year; they lost to the Pacers. And then now they're NBA champs.
Yeah,
The same thing can happen to the Spurs. You can lose in the finals, and you can be right back here next year competing for a championship again. And I have no reason to to not think that the Spurs would be in the same situation next year because they clearly want it. So I think the Spurs, like you said, have no reason to panic. No reason to panic. Just
no,
trusting your guys. You know, Mitch Johnson probably needs to you know read some books about coaching or something. I think a lot of that, like, it doesn't matter how good your players. I don't care if Wemby's playing like garbage. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, you take him out of the game.
yeah,
De'Aaron Fox, clearly struggled that series, and I think you probably could have had. I think the Knicks still would have won, but you probably still could have had a 6 or 7 game series had you sat De'Aaron Fox in a lot of those games.
yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of, I don't know, the finals. Nothing much to talk about there. The Knicks won. Nothing we can say will change the outcome of that. So sorry, Spurs fans.
Yeah.
But
I
man,
think
I
ours is the
definitely,
finals though. Every game came down to the last minute, which is, I mean, I feel like the last couple of years we've had some really good finals. I thought last year the Pacers and Thunder was a great series. Obviously, Halliburton got hurt, but this was, even though it was 5 games, it was like every game was competitive. Every game came down to the last minute, and that's what you want as a just basketball fan. You just want good
right.
basketball, and good basketball was played.
Adam Silver's cooking with the script, man. He's doing something right.
And
No,
they
I
have
agree though.
more
I thought
viewers
this
in
was.
this series than they've ever had in a lot of
I know. I
like,
thought. I thought this series was one of the most entertaining series I've seen.
yeah,
Probably. I mean, this is probably the most vested I've been in the NBA Finals for a while. I mean, the
yeah.
last year's finals, I was pretty invested too. I mean, just lately, the last few years have been really, really good. I mean, we've had a different. I think since the Warriors, or not the Warriors, since the Raptors won, or since the Warriors won in 2018.
Raptors 2019.
Yes, 2018 was the Warriors. I think it's been a different NBA championship different NBA champ every single year because it was 2018 was Warriors, 19 was the Raptors, and then the Lakers, Bucks, and then
Warriors,
Warriors again,
Nuggets, Celtics. Uh,
Thunder, and now the Knicks.
I like that though.
It's
I
good.
think
I think
the
it's good to have parity.
only people who like dynasties is the team that the dynasty is happening. Like nobody liked the Warriors in the 2010s. Like unless
Yeah,
you're a
man.
Warriors
I was sick of seeing the Warriors Cavs in the finals every single year, bro.
It's like that 2016 was like a great series, but the next 2 years were kind of duds. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, LeBron was playing great, but like everybody knew the Warriors were going to win. I don't know. I like that about the league. I think the second apron thing is huge. Like not being able to stack a team the same way that the NBA, like NBA teams have done, gives a lot of teams a chance to really
right,
build something unique. And when we're seeing that, we're seeing smaller markets like do better in the playoffs. Like Pacers last year, Thunder last year, those two small markets were in the finals. Like, and both have built really good teams. Obviously, Knicks is a big market, but San Antonio's not huge. They've
no,
been able to build their
middleman for
way.
sure.
So
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good for the league, and I'm again very entertaining series. I'm glad that we got to witness another great, honestly, playoffs in general. That the playoffs were actually very entertaining this year. So
I
every
agree.
series was great. Um, but now with the NBA Finals over, we move on to the off season. Obviously, the biggest name in this off season is Giannis. Um, Celtics have, according to ESPN and every freaking person on the internet with sports, Celtics have sent an offer to the Bucks that has been centered around Jalen Brown. And Giannis has said that he'd be willing to sign an extension if he was traded to the Celtics. Probably be like a 4-year extension. Um, be crazy. I think, and they're saying that the deal could be done within like the next week,
Yeah.
which is
I've also
quick.
seen the other team I've seen that Giannis has come out and said he really wants to go to the Heat, but
Right,
like Celtics definitely have a better package than the Heat to send. Uh,
right,
and we saw with like the Damian Lillard trade years ago that like even if your star wants to go somewhere, it's like the GM or the owner or whatever, like the president of basketball, whoever is going to be making like the final say on that trade, is going to want to recoup as much as they can. You have a top four, top five player in Giannis, even higher depending on his health, right? You're not going to settle for Tyler Hero and 2 first round picks. Like,
right.
nothing against Tyler Hero, but he's no Jalen Brown. Like,
No, no, exactly. And the thing is, like, Giannis doesn't even have a no trade clause, so it's like he
no,
can't like say if he wants to go somewhere or not. Like, it's
yeah,
kind of he can say he wants to be traded, and obviously that's been clear for a while. And like at that point, you're kind of just like left to whatever the GM wants, wherever is going to fit. You know, he's the GM of the Bucks has to do what is in their best interest for their
yeah,
team that they're managing. At the end of the day, I think the Heat, like obviously, I think the Heat have been said they're a front runner because of the fact that Giannis has stated that he wants to go there publicly, and
yeah.
so I think that's the only thing that's keeping the
The
Heat
Heat
in
in it.
these trade talks. And obviously, like according to all these reports, they're saying that like the Heat are still like trying to actively send offers and packages to the Bucks to see if that's
Yeah,
like something they take. I think another dark horse candidate that's probably has a not probably definitely has a better package than the Heat would be the Blazers. I've seen them a big name. I mean, pair back up with Damian Lillard.
yeah.
This
They'd have
whole
a better supporting cast with Klingon and Advia,
Shannon
and
Sharp. The thing
uh,
is that like a trade for Giannis for the Blazers would definitely revolve around Scoot Henderson or Shannon Sharp. I don't think the Blazers send both of those players out, but one of those two players I think
yeah,
probably will be a Scoot Henderson in my opinion because I think Scoot
yeah.
has shown a ton of improvement in the regular season last season.
He's just injury prone, which is the
He's
downside.
right. So I think, and they have a lot, and the Blazers own lots of the Bucks picks,
Yeah,
and I think that's probably pretty enticing if you're the Bucks, knowing that you're going to be going into a tank. Obviously, the new like tanking rules and the draft lottery odds and things like that definitely affect that to a certain degree, which kind of doesn't give Portland the edge as much as they would have had given the rule changes and whatnot.
yeah.
But I think if you're the Bucks, I think you probably do the deal with the Celtics. I mean, Jalen Brown is a fantastic player, definitely like a franchise guy that you could build around. I mean, he's still very young. Like, I believe he's 26. I was looking it up earlier. 29. I was way off. I mean, 29. I mean, like in today's NBA, like that's still like probably 3 or 4 years of serviceable ball that you can
Yeah,
play and you could build around him. So, I mean, I think, and they have the number 10 pick in the draft. Maybe you try to move up in the draft as well with the assets you get from trading with the Celtics or something like that. So like I
I
think
did.
there's the Bucks have a lot of flexibility with what they can do and probably bounce back relatively quickly.
I did read an article that was an interesting like take, and it was that if the Bucks got Jalen Brown, they'd be interested in moving him for additional pieces. And I did see that the Clippers would be interested in that and sending the fifth overall pick and somebody else like a Garland or someone like that to Milwaukee and keep Kawhi, which would be a very interesting thing. That is probably way far off, but the number 5 pick does have a lot of pull, especially in a draft like this. If the Bucks wanted 2 top 10 picks, like that will boost your rebuild in no
Right.
time.
And then you could draft a guy like a Keaton Wagler or Darius Acuff, get a guard that you
Yeah,
want and
you could take the upside of Darius Acuff probably if I was the Bucks, like, and then pair him next to like a Braden Burries or if he's available, a Daymara. Like you could get a nice rookie duo and uh,
Right.
keep some of the veterans you have around them, or maybe you trade everybody. Maybe you trade Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, just have all young guys. But I think the Bucks, like, luckily Giannis is worth so much. You're going to be in a good position in the next couple of years. It's going to be rough for like a few years, but like you'll be set up. I think you can be a quick rebuild. I don't think this is going to be a 5 6 year rebuild.
No, not at all. I don't think you're gonna have like OJ Mayo leading your team like in the 2010s, you know. So it's like I think they're gonna be in a better spot as the Bucks. Like, you know, you're not you could I think Kuzma would be a hard contract to move because he has a pretty like fat contract for like what he can do for your team. Obviously he's not bad. Like I think Kuzma gets a lot of hate and he like a lot of it is deserved for sure.
He's
But
not
I
worth
think
what he
he's
used to be, though.
yeah, no, he's not what he used to be. He's definitely like had a Ben Simmons kind of arc for sure. But I think if you're the Bucks, even you know, just try and maybe take a flyer on like a Nate Ament or Yaxel Lendenberg, at
Yeah,
number 10, right? Like try and get a guy that can still keep because a lot of the Bucks' identity is in their size. I mean, you got Bobby Portis. I mean, you had Brooke Lopez, and he was playing for them. Giannis, like tons of size. Even Chris Middleton was a big, forward for them.
yeah,
Obviously, didn't like have a lot. Like obviously, wasn't a very athletic forward, but still a great, added size to your team and
yeah,
provided good value on defense. And I think you could definitely keep your identity as a team drafting, Darius Acuff Jr., trading for Jalen Brown. I think that's a good. I think either way you can't go wrong. Truthfully,
yeah.
I think Clippers are in a hard situation to be able to pull off a trade like that. Is it outside the realm of possibility? Definitely not. I think Giannis is going to be. I think the Bucks would be smart to listen to offers from others teams. Like the Clippers,
The
like the
Clippers,
Blazers.
the Clippers was more so like a three-team trade, right? Let's say like if the Bucks don't really want to build around Jalen Brown, they can reroute him for additional draft capital and get draft capital from both Boston and LA, and
Yeah,
really jumpstart the rebuild.
I think that'd be smart. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that happens. Honestly, I mean, Jalen Brown and Kawhi Leonard. It's not definitely not a bad, big two
No,
in LA. So, be interesting to see what happens with the Clippers and obviously see where looks like likely Giannis will be heading to the Celtics, which I think would be. I mean,
good for him.
Tatum and Giannis, man, that's a pretty crazy front court. So,
Yeah,
especially because of the flexibility. I mean, both of them can play the four, both of them can play the three. Giannis could play the five for them if needed. Like they
yeah,
could have a lot of flexibility with lineups, and you still. I think in a trade, they'd probably still have to include Peyton Pritchard for salary purposes, and I think the Celtics don't have as many draft assets, so they'd probably have to throw another player in there to make it work. And I think including a third team might be the way to go if obviously the Bucks rebuilding want to have draft capital.
yeah.
So
Maybe make a three-team trade with Portland, right, and get your home picks back and
right.
do something like that.
Reroute if you wanted to reroute Brown to Portland. I'm sure the Blazers
And
would be happy to have
he'd fit on that team
Damon
pretty well.
Brown, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson. I mean,
Denny Avdia would be,
Denny Audia, of course. I always forget about him.
yeah, he's their
he
all
had a
star.
great he had a great season last season, so
Yeah,
I think the Blazers will probably be if that happens, the Blazers could be a kind of a dark horse in the West for sure.
yeah,
Make some Could be a team that could make some noise, given that Damian Lillard's back to you know normal as far as production and clutchness goes. So um, other than that, I mean, off season, I just read that Mark whatever his name is on the ESPN looks like Austin Reeves is probably going to end up with the Lakers, which doesn't surprise me. I think LA is just one of those teams that they try to keep those guys like Austin Reeves that kind of you know they're good contributors to the team
Yeah,
I think the Lakers probably would be better off letting him walk or do a sign and trade or something like that. But you know,
yeah,
obviously, I don't know anything. So
yeah. No, they're not going to be like worse off for it than they have been, but I don't think that that money is going to be like well worth it if that makes sense. Like I think Reeves is a great player, but for what he's going to get, I mean, I don't think LA is going to win with that. And how loaded the West is, and how many teams are up and coming in the West, like it's a gauntlet. And yeah, you have Luca, who's amazing, and Reeves, who's a really solid player, but it's like, is that duo gonna get you past OKC or San Antonio? Like, I don't know. I think LA is a unique team. I think they'll be within like how they were this year, between 4 to 6 in the West, and maybe even dip into the play in depending on health of players. But uh, I mean, you do have a good player, so I mean, it's good to keep players, but I don't know if that's going to be the best long term contract.
right, I think I think especially because like next year's free agency class is going to be a big one. Even if Giannis signs an extension, I mean, you still got Jokic and Donovan Mitchell, which I think. I mean, obviously Donovan Mitchell and the Lakers be cake on defense for, got Luca and Donovan Mitchell and the
But
be
Austin
kind
Reeves
of
is not like a great defender. It's not like you're
no,
losing much there.
no,
But like,
exactly. And what Donovan Mitchell doesn't bring in defense, he brings more in offense, and the same goes for Luca. So it's like I think overall, I think the Lakers would be better off trying to get some, do a sign and trade with the Nets for Austin Reeves, or if that's the team that really wants him, because it looks like the Nets are kind of like the biggest team that's pursuing Austin Reeves, and they're willing to pay him, better money than the Lakers are willing to pay him. So I think if you're the Lakers, you use that to your advantage, and try and bolster, get some assets or something for it. Because I mean, you're the Lakers, you have nothing, you have no picks, you have no, you know, you got Luca and you got Rui Hachimura, but I think people tend to overhype his worth in the trade market. I don't think
yeah,
teams are going to be waiting hand and foot to you know trade for Rui Hachimura. No disrespect, but it's not as I think people are looking a little too into that. And I mean, the wing is not in short supply in the NBA. It's
no,
a good big, like, that's why Giannis' name is going everywhere. Not only because he's Giannis, but because of the position he plays. Forwards and centers that are that can play as at an elite level that he can are in very short supply in the league.
yeah.
So
I hope he stays in the East too. I can't have so many teams in the West with all the star
no,
players.
no, the West is if the Giannis goes to the West, bro, it's done. It's
Top
just
five players in the league all in the West. But
yeah, that'll be insane. Be insane. I saw like a video, or not a video, like a post of some Spurs fans saying you trade Wemby for Fox, or not Wemby for Fox, Fox for Giannis. Golly, I was like,
it's not going to happen.
never gonna happen. But could you imagine
The
Wemby and
Bucks
Giannis
will
on the
not
same
trade
team?
at the Spurs unless they get Harper or Castle, and I don't think the Spurs are willing to give up
Oh,
one of
I
those
wouldn't get
guys.
him up. I
No.
just love to see the delusional fan trades. It's my favorite thing. But just so bad, man, so bad. I don't even know how to like describe it. It's just why. But
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. Be interesting to see what happens with Giannis. I honestly hope he goes to the Celtics. I think that'd be good for both parties. So I think it'd be fun to see a Giannis Tatum pairing in the East. Finally see. Be weird to see Giannis not in a Bucks jersey, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be good for the league to see a guy like that move from the
Not,
Bucks.
not waste the rest of his career on a team that is playing bound every year with
Yeah, I
him.
mean, kudos to him. They won a chip, but that was like a very like they were on a win now or suck forever situation. So
Yeah, that's
I mean
true.
they got it done though, so good for them. But other big news in the league this season, or I mean this season, what am I smoking? Like today, basically, is no other than Darren Peterson. At one point he was considered the consensus number one. Obviously, DeBonsa has taken that position because of his postseason, or I say March Madness performance. Not to say that Darren Peterson isn't capable of producing a similar performance, but he just, he had a similar, he had his cramps, and they were saying it was creatine related, and he just, didn't play as much, kind of load managing a little bit. People were saying, um, but today it was announced or reported that Darren Peterson is only meeting with the Wizards. He is not going to work out with the Grizzlies or the Jazz. Uh, what do you think about this?
Well, you know, mm, big Jazz guy, so I obviously it sucks. Like we've seen this more in recent drafts than before, um, and maybe that's because of NIL, maybe that's from other reasons. But I mean, at the end of the day, it shouldn't change much for you. I think if you're a GM, especially picking in how talented this draft is, you got to pick the best player available. And, like the top three, those guys are all super good. I think Debance and Peterson are on the same level. And so if you're Washington, right, you pick who you think is going to make your team the best. Like you gotta make that not just short term this next year, but in 5 to even 10 years, who knows? But in 5 years' time, is like is this person at 24, 25 going to be a top 10 player? And that's like they both have the potential for it, and they both worked out with Washington. So Washington they should pick whoever they feel is the best. And then Utah, I mean, the Jazz shouldn't overthink it. They should take of the two remaining guys who they think is going to be make their team the best, not only for this next year but for the next 5 years. Obviously,
Yeah,
Peterson fits the Jazz roster. They're a bit bloated in the front court, but if the Jazz do take Boozer, like it's not as ideal, but maybe it's good for a guy not to be thrown into the starting lineup right away and have some time to kind of grow. And maybe there's some lineups out there that Boozer would make the Jazz the best team, or the make he'd be the rookie to make the Jazz the best that they could be. But I think the like front offices, especially Danny Ainge, like he's gonna pick whoever he feels like. We saw that last year. It's like Ace Bailey didn't work out for the Jazz, and they said, "F it, let's draft him anyway," and it worked out. Like he had a good year, and he's enjoyed playing in Utah. And it's like I think most guys have the picture of what their career looks like in their mind, but then once they actually get into it, they enjoy it a lot more than they think they will. And I think that's with most teams. I don't think a lot of people want to go to Memphis or Utah. Like, I don't think a lot of these kids growing up were like, I want to play for the Grizzlies or the Jazz. It's like that just doesn't happen. Like, unless you're from Tennessee or Utah, like that's the only people who want to play for those teams technically. But
right.
a lot of players have had really great careers once they get drafted to those teams. So I don't
All
think it's
right.
too big a news. I think it's overhyped, but that's most draft stuff. I think people just need a storyline, and Darren
Yeah, it's
Peterson
off
is
season.
the storyline of this draft. So
Yeah, I agree, and I think, like you said, it reminds me a lot of Ace Bailey situation. It feels like a really like in Groundhog's Day, low key, like pretty much the same situation where players trying to like decide their fate themselves by telling teams like, "Oh, I don't want to play for you." And it's like, and like you said, Danny Ainge obviously did not care what Ace Bailey thought, and Ace Bailey ended up, I think Ace Bailey is doing well in Utah. I don't doubt that for a second. I mean, you saw what he did in the second half of the season after All Star break. He was phenomenal, honestly. Played really well, especially because he struggled in the first half of the season. But I think he kind of threw it together. And I mean, like I said, I think small markets are not a bad place to be as a rookie, especially because like I think you don't want to end up if you're Peterson. I don't think you want to be on the Wizards personally. I don't think you fit on that roster at all. I mean, you got Trey Young, you got Bilal Koulibaly, you got Carrington,
Keyshawn George.
you got a lot of wings, and yeah, Kashawn George. Like you got lots of wings and guards on that team. And I think you're gonna be competing a lot. And I mean, in Utah, I mean, they basically have made it a point that like, yeah, you'd be a starter on the team probably off the rip. Maybe you make an argument to start Ace Bailey with Keontae George, or maybe even obviously I don't think they bench Keontae George after the season he had. And
No.
maybe people could say that he did like was having a tank commander season or something like that. But I really don't have the impression that he did. I think that was just like true progression that he had, and that he, I think he was kind of snubbed for most improved, in my opinion. I mean, I think
Yeah.
you could have given it to Denny Avdija. Like, I think Denny Avdija deserved it more than Keldon Johnson. But, you know,
Most improved was Nikhil Alexander Walker. Kellen Johnson was six
or
man.
sorry, Nikhil, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And obviously, NAW had a great year with the, who he played
Hawks.
for the Hawks. I'm like, I can't, he was on the Jazz last season, but
A couple seasons, yeah.
obviously had a good year with them. But I don't know. I think Denny was better, but that's a different debate. But I think
I,
overall, I think if you're the Wizards, like you said, just draft a Bonsa if that's who you want. I think the
yeah.
Wizards would be stupid to not draft a Bonsa. Obviously, I think
Yeah.
Utah fans are like in shambles over that because the fact that he played in Utah for high school, he played for BYU. Like I think people are like he has to go to Utah, and I think if you're the Jazz, if you end up with Utah, like I mean, I would be mad if I ended up with
No.
Devonsa if I was Utah. Like that'd be great. Like I think Utah's in a very good spot at the number 2 pick because they're not in a situation where the Wizards are, where like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like,
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, oh, like this is all we had, like just like how the Spurs were last year with Dylan Harper. I mean, Dylan Harper is a stud, obviously, and obviously he's no Cooper Flag. I mean, Cooper Flag has been phenomenal, but you can't. Let's say
Yeah.
the Mavericks draft Dylan Harper. It's like, oh yeah, like no one's gonna be like being mad about the Spurs drafting Cooper Flag.
No.
It's like the same thing with the Jazz. Like you're in a good position where your fans can't be mad. The league can't be mad about you. Like nothing. You can't go wrong essentially unless you draft
No.
Boozer. In my opinion, I think.
I
I think you call his bluff personally, like they did with Ace Bailey. You just be like,
I
oh yeah,
the Boozer thing, like I really like Cam Boozer as a player. Like I thought his tape at Duke was phenomenal. Obviously, there's some question marks with athleticism for the NBA in guarding guys, and that's a legitimate question. But like, uh, this is where Washington and Utah are in a very similar spot. Like they're very similar teams. Both traded for some all stars, kind of bought low on them, and like are been in a rebuild for a while, but are wanting to turn the page next season and really compete. Um, but for Washington, Anthony Davis has said a couple times on some podcasts and just kind of throughout that he doesn't really know why Washington drafted or not drafted him, traded for him. He doesn't know his long term fit there. He's only got one more year on his deal, and where I think Utah is similar is right. I know Kessler's a restricted free agent, but that's still there's tension there, right? It's likely that he's going to get re-signed, but it's not a guarantee. And so, I think Boozer is a player that has such a high floor that I think he'll be all rookie first team easy. I think he's got a real chance of winning rookie of the year. He's a really smart player. He's really talented. He's got hard work ethic, and so like I don't think he's at the same has the same ceiling as Devancer or Peterson. But if Washington or Utah were to take him, I could see where he could provide a lot for their teams. I still think the other two are a better fit, but like I can talk myself into Boozer. And I when the lot after the lottery, I didn't think that, but like the more I look at it, the more it's like he's a great player. And for Washington and Utah, if you have a question mark at that center or at that power forward position, it's like maybe you take a chance at him. Maybe he can fit in. He starts at the backup for this year, and then maybe something happens where he becomes the full time center. Uh, and with the size that both teams have around, like with Sar and with Keyshawn George, it's like he'd fit really well in Washington too, right? If Anthony Davis isn't a long term thing, if this is a one and done for Anthony Davis, it's like Boozer would be a great fit for your team. And if Kessler, like if the Jazz decide to do a sign and trade with him or do something like that, it's like he could play small ball five because he's such a good rebounder. And you put him next to a defender like Jaren Jackson, and he could have success that way. But I think you just don't overthink it, like we've been talking about. These guys are so good, and it's like overthinking it's going to cause you problems. Pick the best player who you think is the best player. If Washington truly believes Boozer's the best player, then they should take Boozer, right? That's going to be the best for their franchise. And if it's Devanza or Peterson, you got to take one of those. And Utah's the same thing. You can't let
Right.
a guy not working out with you or like guy saying something you heard deter that, because I think you have an image or a vision of what you want your team, and you got to go with that.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. I think the Jazz would be, I think the Jazz should just do what they do with Ace Bailey. Call his bluff, draft him anyways, you know, and
Let
just
the culture of the team kind of make him excited to be on the team.
right. Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, people are gonna hate like on oh, living in Utah sucks, or like there's no clubs and like whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe that's good because then you can focus on your game. Like I don't know, I don't think that's controversial, and there's things to do as well.
Yeah,
No bias, but
I
I
think
think if you're the Wizards, like you said, draft the guy you want. If you're the Jazz, draft the guy who's available, draft the best available player. I think this is a draft where you have to draft the best available talent because the talent is so elite for this class. I mean, the player comps. I mean, even like Cam Boozer, like if you end up drafting Cam Boozer, I think the Jazz would be kind of foolish to do that, like I said, but I don't think you could go wrong either. Personally, like I think Cam Boozer's still a great talent, and obviously his ceiling isn't as high as Darren Peterson's isn't as high as AJ DeBonsta's is, but I think at the end of the day, like you can't go wrong with honestly anyone in the top four. Like in previous years, like any of these guys could be taught like number one, like the consensus number one guy in any draft. So I think, and I think that like Cooper Flag could have been in this draft class on top of all the talents. I mean, just absolutely nuts.
I think Cooper Flag would still be the unanimous number one without even
Oh,
discussion if he's still in this draft class.
100%,
I
100%.
It is a loaded class though. It is crazy to think that he could have been there, but
Yep, instead of the Mavs got him, dang it. But I don't know. I'd probably rather see him in Dallas than the Wizards. So
that's rough. That's rough.
no disrespect, but him and Kyrie is kind of fun to watch. But who knows?
Yeah,
Kyrie might be gone, so
we'll see.
which would be nuts. I think either way. I think with the draft, I think a lot of it is a little over exaggerated. There's a lot of hyperbole going on here because there's nothing to report on, so you gotta milk what you can. I think at
I
the end of the day, I think it's a bunch of hoopla. Who knows? It might just be like his agent being like how Ace Bailey it just came out that like it turned out that his agent was just like being a weird hoe, like and just like being goofy about everything. So could be one of those situations. I'm sure Darian Peterson's a good person, so
Yeah,
sure he's not a diva. Like they were making Ace Bailey look like he was a diva last year. I don't
yeah,
think there's. I think to be fair though with Darian Peterson, I think there are some like maybe like him doing this, maybe there is some truth to we were told that like him sitting on the bench was because he was dealing with cramping and due to creatine and having muscle soreness and whatever the heck they were saying.
yeah,
Maybe there is some maybe that he was being difficult, yeah, difficult player to be coached, and didn't want to play and wanted to kind of do what he wanted to do. Maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe because of what's come out, maybe a lot of that isn't so far fetched as people were trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think at the end of the day, like you're young. I mean, you're 19 years old,
yeah.
18, 19 years old coming into the draft. Like you're still a kid at that point. Like I'm older than them, but I'm still like a kid. So it's like, and like I'm sure that's a crazy process to navigate. And like you said, players have their idea of how they want their career to go. But at the end of the day, like I think I'm gonna go talking in circles about this, but I think if you're the Wizards, just draft Bonsta. The Jazz, just draft Peterson and let the rest.
Yeah,
Obviously the Memphis are probably going to draft Boozer and then let the rest, go the way it goes. Because I think if it goes any other way, I think it's just going to be, I don't know. I think it'd just be unwise
yeah.
on the Jazz's part if they don't draft Aaron Peterson.
I, I mean, I like I said, I agree. And I think a lot of like personality stuff, like I said, culture is essential. And I think both Utah and Memphis have a really good culture in a sense. They're really good developmental programs for players. They've had a lot of good players come through. I know neither team has won it all, but like a lot of good talent has been built up in Utah and in Memphis. And so if you're a player, like I think after you kind of get to know the front office, get to know your teammates and everything, like you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna get paid millions to play basketball. Like
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you, bro. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's like I you throw 20 million at a 19-year-old, I think he can be pretty happy. So
But dude, I do some crazy things to be a bench warmer in the NBA, dude. I do whatever LeBron wants me to do, man. I freaking
live
massage his
off of
feet.
him like 1.5 million a year just to
Yeah, I'll take the
be on the
vet
practice
minimum.
squad, basically.
Yeah, if I didn't do anything, I would sit in a dark room just for that money, bro. Like, I don't know what like I would. These players, man, that gets to their head a little bit sometimes. And I'm like, dang, bro, I'd be doing anything. Like, I would do anything for LeBron to be a bench warmer. I'd do anything for, I don't know, the Nassus Antetokounmpo. I'd freaking be giving him massages on the bench. I'd be doing anything.
Yeah.
I'd be like that one
Yeah.
guy in all the Kalshi Knicks videos. I'd sell my firstborn to cheat on my wife. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
but I'd do some crazy things to get a NBA contract for sure. So,
Yeah. I think
anyways,
I think the rest of the draft will be an interesting thing. There's a lot of really talented guards, especially. Um, and honestly, the NBA, there's still a lot of talented guards, don't get me wrong. But there are more forwards than guards, in my opinion, who are good. And so I think this year we'll kind of revamp the point guard and shooting guard positions and give teams more options at those spots and in the future, even like tradable guys. But I don't know. I think there's going to be multiple top 15, top 20 players in this top 10. And I think there's going to be multiple guys that are going to be key pieces on a lot of championship teams. But it's good. It's good to have a pick in the top 10.
I agree. I agree. All right, moving on. Next segment here. We've got. I was looking through. You know, I was looking through ESPN. Like I do to see like what to talk about. Um, what to send my homeboy over here to crash out to. But I saw some pretty diabolical things the other day. First off, I saw the power rankings, like the post finals NBA power rankings, ESPN. I must say, I could probably have a job at ESPN right now if I could consistently like take out this like consistently pump out garbage, like absolute dumpster fumes every single day. Like if I could just get paid to sit on the toilet and poo, because that's essentially what they're doing, bro, over here at ESPN. Like what the crap is this, man? What is this garbage that they're putting out? So let me just pull it up here for you guys, because this is actually absurd here. We'll take off that. Uh, all right, best editor on YouTube. Here we go. Boom.
I
Uh,
ESPN, Bleacher Report. Those are the two that you know. Maybe if you're a Lakers fan or a Golden State fan, you might really like their takes, but they're pretty delusional on some of their trade offers and
yeah, definitely.
their
There we go.
opinions on stuff. It cracks
Let's
me
see.
up because I think if a GM or president of a team were to see them, would laugh.
Right. All right. Don't mind the technical difficulties here, but this is the post finals NBA rankings here. So number one, they put OKC. I don't know how you don't put the NBA champion at number one. Okay, the Thunder didn't even make the finals. Look, it says it right there. Eliminated in the Western Conference Finals. How on earth do you put them above the Knicks, who literally won the chip? It's like they're not even at, look. They're not even at two. They're not even at two. You can't even make this up. The Spurs lost. Trust me, I like this. I love the Spurs. I like them as next as the next guy.
They just got
You you
gentlemen
can't.
swept.
They just got freaking cooked in the finals, bro. Like,
No,
look at that.
that
The
one was the one
the
that
top two lost, eliminated. lost. I like how they use different words for everything. And then
Yeah.
finally, the New York Knicks at number 3, NBA Finals champions. Like, what? How do you not
No,
make them number 1?
I don't understand it. I mean, like
That's
power rankings, right? Team that's playing the best. It's like you just saw New York beat San Antonio, and it's the same night. They
just
did it. They did it on Saturday night. They did their way too early power rankings, and they put San Antonio above New York. Like we just watched that
they blew a
series.
29-point lead, bro. You cannot be
It's not a
serious.
question. It's not a question mark of like, are the Knicks better than San
They're,
Antonio?
it's
Yes,
objectively
yes, they
objectively
are.
they are. We just witnessed it.
Like, I, I, I,
No,
I don't
it's
know.
pretty
I don't.
diabolical, man. Pretty
I don't know. And
diabolical.
then the Spurs beat the Thunder, and they're ranked below them. I
I
mean,
know, right?
The Spurs went 8-4 against the Thunder this year. Eight
Yeah,
and
but
four.
the Spurs, dude,
Like,
Wemby like hates Chet Holmgren so much. I bet he was like seething at this article, bro. I bet he was absolutely fuming. I'm not sure he doesn't care, but maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
would
not
be.
that big, but
If I was a New York or a Spurs player, and I saw that, I'd be so annoyed. Like, hey, we beat this team in the Western Conference Finals. Why are they ranked higher than us? We
no,
just
I
beat
for
this team
real.
in the finals. Why are they ranked high? Like,
Like the top three could easily go New York, Spurs, and then Thunder. I'd be okay with that. That would be
yeah,
accurate because I think the Thunder are better than the Oh, my mind is blanking. The Cavs, you
yeah.
know,
I think they're
easily.
better than Detroit. I think they're better than Houston Nuggets.
Well, guess
They're better.
and this is the best thing ever, bro. Guess who's next? Number 4. Who do you think? Just out of curiosity, who would you put?
I would personally put either the Celtics or I would put the my mind's blanking. Uh, the Pistons. That's who
The
I'd say.
Pistons. I put the Pistons personally. They put the freaking Celtics, bro. I put the Celtics. You can't make this up, man. I just realized that you can't see this. I'm gonna put it on your screen for you.
Oh, there you
The Celtics, bro. Like this is diabolical. You can't. I don't know. Like I feel like if you lost in the first round, you can't be considered a top 4 team in the league.
go.
And obviously,
Well, if they do
and
get Giannis,
obviously,
then yes, they'll be
yeah,
top.
but obviously, like Tatum had his injury stuff. Like I'm not gonna but like the thing is, like you don't like do the what ifs, like you said. It's what happened. You can't just put the Celtics at number 4, man. Like it's got to be rage bait. Like I can't believe. And obviously, and then they put the Pistons next, which is good. I think that's
The
fine.
Nuggets at 6 is
And
also
then
crazy.
the
They got
Nuggets at 6, they
blown
got
out in
first
the
round.
first round,
They got cooked. They got
and they have so
destroyed.
many question marks. I think Denver's like, yes, you have Nikola Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the world, and that gets you a lot. But you haven't made it to conference finals since you won a championship. Not even like the conference final.
You made the second round, haven't they?
Like Minnesota has bounced you 2 of those years. It was a tough 7 game series to OKC, but like Cleveland too. Like I don't think Cleveland's that great. They
Yeah,
got
Cleveland's
swept in the
next.
conference finals. Like I think Minnesota could have beat this Cleveland team and could be above. Like
I just have always said this. I don't ever like, and this is like evidence because of the Jazz. I don't think Donovan Mitchell can ever be your number 1 option on a championship team. Just
no,
like, and I don't think that's controversial. I think the Cavs have shown this. They've consistently choked in the playoffs ever since Donovan Mitchell was traded there. The last time they were successful was when LeBron was there. Okay, like
no. I think Cleveland is of the Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz blew it up. Cleveland gave away a lot, and Mitchell's been good, but like he doesn't elevate his team. I have That's my issue with him. I loved watching him on the Jazz, and I still think he's a stellar player, and he does have those playoff moments, but he's so streaky. He'll have a dominant third quarter and then not shoot the ball in the fourth quarter. And it's like
right.
he doesn't get his teammates involved very well, and it's so it's hard for me to envision him being the number one guy on a team. I think he'll be a stellar number two, but like Brunson's better than him, and that kind of small guard to lead to championship, and like I think that Shea's better than him. Edwards is better than him. Like
Not controversial. Kate Cunningham's better.
Cade Cunningham's, yeah. And there's a lot of up and coming guys. Like I don't think in 3-4 years time, or not that long, like maybe even 2-3 years time, like Dylan Harper's going to be better than him. Maybe it's Stephon Castle. Like there's
Or
guys in the
both.
league that are like, who knows? Maybe it'll be Darren Peterson. Like we'll see how like that goes out. But like I don't think he's going to get a max contract next year, and I don't think the team that signs him is going to win a championship with him.
Yeah, I think he's
But
out of Cleveland though next year. Personally, I
I
think
agree.
he's
I,
leaving.
I don't know what the Cavs are wanting to do. They have an off season that's hard. Like LeBron's not signing for a minimum, so you're not going to sign LeBron James. And even if you did, like that does help your team, but does that get you over the hump? And I just don't think it does.
I
I
mean, they
think
had
New
Luca.
York,
The Lakers had Luca, and Luca's a much better player than Don Mitchell is,
yeah,
and they still couldn't. And the Lakers couldn't do much. They couldn't get past the, you know,
they
first
got
round.
swept.
So it's like, you
Yeah,
know. So I think it'd be interesting. After this, they got the Timberwolves. I mean, I think that's fine.
Timberwolves are also like the Cavs, where they have such a great guy in Anthony Edwards that they just need to find him a second star. And I know they are trying to, but they're like a star away from winning. And if they can get that, they're real contenders next year. But until then, I think their first, second round victories. Maybe they make the conference finals again, but I don't think they're getting past OKC or San Antonio.
Right. I agree. I agree. Um, and this is projections for the next season as well. I'll note that's what it says. First look at next season's NBA power rankings.
Yeah.
So they had the Lakers at 9, which I think is, I don't know if the Lakers will be a top 10 team in the NBA next season. I mean, they could be. I don't know.
Until they figure out their center position, I don't think so.
I think
Like,
there's a lot of unknown there for sure. I think putting the Lakers at 9, and especially putting the Rockets at 10, I think the Rockets, I don't know. I think Kevin Durant is, um, I don't know, interesting. Obviously, at the KD burner, so he hits teammates.
I honestly don't think Kevin Durant is the problem on this team by a
No,
long
it's
shot.
Jabari Smith Jr. It's Reed
Sengun,
Shepard,
Sengun has
Sengun.
also been like so streaky, and I don't think Ime Udoka is that good of a coach, especially for this team. Um, and I don't think he's going to be on the Rockets by the end of next year. I think he's a coach on the hot seat. So
Yeah. So the Bulls just hired Tiago Splitter to be
it's a
their
great
coach. Do you
hire
see
for them.
that? I
Yeah,
think so too. I mean, I love Tiago Splitter in like 2K13 or whatever he was on the Spurs with Kawhi. Like 2K15 or 16, I can't remember. But good times. You know, the Pacers at 11. I think that's a fair ranking for him here because,
it's
I
fair,
mean,
but
it's a
there's
little
such a
high.
question mark.
I think
Like
it's a little high. I think given that Tyrese Halliburton is like healthy, Zubac, great center, tad overrated in my opinion. I mean, he did have that great series against Jokic, and I think that's where.
he's
Um,
top 10 center, but like he's not like game changing center.
no, not exactly. He's like good. He's like good, but he's not great. You know,
Yeah,
like so. I think the Pacers are definitely be interesting. And also Zubac also has a lot of injury stuff. So like he's not very healthy consistently. Especially, I mean, I feel like all the Pacers, like their whole starting five, has a lot of injury, like health question marks. Because I feel like a lot of them can't be healthy. I think Tyrese Halliburton was a healthy player until he, totally just destroyed his Achilles.
yeah.
So, and that's a hard injury to come back from. Obviously, we saw Tatum come back with like lots of athleticism and I think it's shown how medicine, like sports medicine, has progressed. and that these players can really come back quickly, which I think is really great. It's like, I mean, imagine, Derrick Rose if he had, this type of medicine, Brandon Roy, Penny Hardaway, like these players who like their injuries were ruined or their careers were ruined by injury. Like, I think it's kind of cool to see that they had, like Tatum came back like that, no matter how corny people say he is. We did it. I got bacon on my sub. Um, it's Philly.
76ers is high. I
I think this is crazy. I think the 76ers are going to be like a playing team next season.
I think they'll be a fringe playing team.
I think they're going to be trash, bro. Like, I'm sorry. No offense to Paul George and Joel Embiid, but like the process, I haven't trusted in it, bro. It hasn't worked.
But
I think the 76ers need to blow it up again, in my opinion. But
I think that you have Maxi and you have Edgecombe, and those are the guys you got to build around. And Paul George contract's so unfortunate. But Embiid, if you can get anything for him now, now's a chance. Like
give it
he
the
still
Mavericks.
showed last year that like he still has that ability to be the number one guy on the team. And
Right.
so I think you gotta trade him. Like you're not gonna he's shown that even when healthy, he's not gonna bring the 76ers to a championship. And their roster just doesn't doesn't make me believe that they could win, even though they have good players. Like I think this is a bit tad high for them. I think Atlanta right underneath them is a much better
Yeah.
team
Well,
and
especially if they
a
lose
lot more going forward.
yeah, if they lose Quentin Grimes too, like I feel like because that's looking like it could happen potentially. I think if you lose Quentin Grimes, you lose a lot of bench depth. I feel like you're just gonna be like in the Lakers situation where like you got a good star in Luka Doncic, you got Austin Reeves, like just like the Philly, they got Tyrese Maxey, they got VJ Edgecombe, they got Embiid if he's gonna play more than 20 games in the season. Like you know you're just gonna be stuck in that situation where you're gonna be mediocre. Obviously, the Lakers won like 50 plus games this season, so like there is like that contention to be made. But I think
But
Philly at
mediocrity
12.
for me in the
Uh,
NBA, like or just in like professional sports in general, mediocrity is a team that is just going to the first round every year. Like it's not like
I
the lack
agree.
of talent. It's like I, I don't know. I could view 76ers almost like you do the Pittsburgh Steelers in a sense. It's like, yeah, they have the record that shows that like they're a good team, but it's like everybody has a feeling that it's not enough. And like when they played New York, I never once doubted that they would beat or that they would not lose. Or I never doubted the Knicks to beat the 76ers. That's what I'm trying to say. And like
Yeah.
I never felt the 76ers were going to do anything in that series. And it's
Right.
like they have the round one upset against the Celtics, which is great, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah, but also it was a Celtics team that also wasn't at full force. So it's like,
Yeah, but
and obviously Jalen Brown's a great player, but I mean,
I don't think
Philly
he's a
played
true
well. I'll give them their flowers
number
there. They
one.
did play well in that series, but
Yeah,
like I think 12 is way too high. So, and
yeah.
then they got the Hawks at 13. I think the Hawks are an interesting team. I think
I think the
they
Hawks are
could.
better than Indiana and the 76ers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Jalen Johnson, if he continues to have that progression of Shea, can kind of figure it out offensively and you know kind of and embrace his role on that team, and hopefully they can figure out where he fits there. Because I think that trouble with Shea and the Hawks is that it's been kind of hard to find his fit. And maybe who knows, maybe Kuminga has like a great year and finally shows the progression that everyone thought he would have. So like I think, and obviously you got Nikhil Alexander Walker who played phenomenally, last season. Obviously you trade away Trey Young, so it's kind of you see first season how you do without him.
They're
I
they're
think
a,
the Hawks
they're
do
a
have
sleeper
serious
Giannis
potential
team.
though.
They're a sleeper Giannis team, in my opinion. I think that I mean I've heard a lot of people bring up the Hawks. They have a lot of pieces they could trade away without giving up everything.
Right.
Um, you pair Jalen Johnson and Giannis together, and it's an interesting. They have the eighth overall pick too, so maybe like if you keep this roster and you draft well, like And a Day Mara would transform that team crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like, or a Braden Burries, like Mikael Brown Jr. Like those are three
I
guys
think you
that
need. I
are.
think if you're the Hawks, you draft a guard for sure.
Yeah, I think you can either get Flemings, Burries, or Mikael Brown. Like one of those guys is going to be available at 8, and it's like every single one of those guys is going to make you a better team.
Right. I agree. I agree. Got Raptors at 14. Um, I don't know about that personally. Scotty Barnes is great. I
They
just feel
need
like
they need
they
to
need, and Brandon Ingram
change
is
some
good,
things.
but I
I
just feel
think
like they're kind of like a weird. It's just like they're in a weird team. I think there's just a weird fit with Barnes and Ingram on the same team.
they need a better
Because
center.
Ingram isn't, yeah, I would say Ingram isn't a true guard. Like he can't play the two, and like putting Scotty at the four, I think that makes you a little too small. Obviously, like Scotty Barnes is great defensively, and he's a good two way player.
Yeah,
And I don't like not doubting his ability to play basketball. He's great. You know, I like Scotty Barnes actually. I think he's a little underrated in my opinion, but because I think what he can do is great. But I think it's like the Raptors are just in a weird spot because like they drafted Colin Murray Boyles last season, and I think I don't know. I think he's not really the answer for you. I think, and especially in the draft, like they're at 19th in the draft. Like you're not gonna get a great quality guy that can really boost your team at 19 in this draft. I think a lot of the great guys are going to be like franchise changers or contributors are going to be in the lottery,
yeah,
which is could be said for every draft, but this draft more so than others. So
yeah. I think they have a couple of bad contracts on their team too that kind of limit their what they can be. Um, Colin Murray Boyles is an interesting fit because he is small, but he I think showed his worth in that Cleveland series. But you need something else. You need to like I think Scotty Barnes at the 3 is your best way forward, and Colin Murray Boyles at the 4. Um, but they need a point like a true point guard and a true center. Jakob Poeltl is just he doesn't have it anymore, and he used to be a good player, but like he's just not what he used to be. And
yeah,
Father Time is coming. Kind of, you could see it in that Cleveland series. It was hard to watch him out on the court, but they needed some size. Because when he was off the court, they also struggled because it's like they struggle with Mobley and Allen. But they'll be a playoff team next year.
no,
Do
I
I see
agree.
them getting out of the first round?
Nah,
Maybe
no,
second
I
round.
think no.
Like second round at best is my thought on Toronto. But
I agree. 15, they got the Magic, which I think is shocking. I think the Magic are going to be really good next year. I think they could be a sleeper team that could make it to the conference finals, in my opinion. I really like the Magic. I like Franz Wagner a lot. I like Paulo Banchero. I like Desmond Bain, not so much. I think I think they definitely overpaid to get him. Does he contribute to the team? Yeah, no doubt. He's a great player, but I don't think he's worth the amount of picks they gave up for him. But I think the Magic can, if they have good progression and they can kind of make some. I mean, I love Jalen Suggs as well. I think he's fantastic. I think a lot of people kind of wrote him off a few seasons ago because I think people were expecting him to become like a superstar, and that just wasn't what he was going to be. But
he,
I
he's
still think
he's
he's
he's a Derek
fantastic.
White. Like that's
No, he really is. He's the Derek White.
yeah, which a lot of teams want. He may be a little bit overpaid, but like he's still got a lot of
He
value.
contributes. He contributes so much, and I think he's one of the reasons why they could have beat the Pistons in the first round. Like he
Yeah,
was one of the reasons that they were dominating them. So I think I think the Magic need to be a little higher, but I'm not mad at where they put them either because I think there is a lot of question marks for them because I think they're a team that might just end up being pretty stagnant in the off season. Not making a lot of moves, and I think they do need to do something that is a little more aggressive to get maybe.
I think the new head coach is going to be better for him too. I don't think
I agree.
Jamal Mosley did a very good job at coaching the young talent on his team. And obviously
Yeah.
Franz Wagner's injuries have stacked up, but like I don't know, I think it was more of a coaching than players. I think Paolo Banchero is a great player. I know he's had his shooting issues, but I still think he's a top young player.
He's like a baby Giannis, So isn't that? Are they getting the Spurs assistant coach? The
Sean
Is
Sweeney.
Sean Sweeney? Isn't he the Spurs assistant coach?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'd have to
I
look it
thought
up.
he was. I'm looking it up real quick. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to. I'm pretty sure Sean Sweeney is the Spurs head coach or defense or heck, assistant coach. The defense.
Yeah.
He's like the defensive assistant coach. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I don't know ball. Who cares? Warriors. I think they'll be a playing team again next season. I don't see them
I
doing
don't see
anything.
it. I
They
don't.
could even be lottery. They probably be a lottery team next season. Honestly,
I
like I
think
don't.
they'll. I think they'll be lottery more so than playing,
I
unless
think.
they are able to land the Kawhi or maybe LeBron James makes them in the play-in again. But like
Yeah, even if they
they're
get
too
LeBron,
old
I
and they
just
don't have enough. They don't have enough youth, and their injuries have stacked up. Jimmy Butler's 35, 36, coming off an ACL. I don't think he's going to come back and be the same Jimmy Butler.
no,
Like
not no.
I don't think you're. I think you're going to see like the Paul George stats from Jimmy Butler next year, and like
I love Curry, but I think he's getting father time. With like I think he's getting to that point where he's not like and you see it and like when you watch him play, like even in the play-in, like he struggled. I think a lot, and I think it's just like he just doesn't have it anymore like he used to. Obviously, he's still a phenomenal player, still the greatest shooter of all time, but I think
he's what
he's
37,
he's
38.
not in his prime anymore. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure he's 37. Yeah, I think you're right. Like he's old. He's old. Like I'm surprised
He'll be 38 next year. Like
I think this could be his last year next season, personally. So
I think he'll finish his contract and that'll be it.
yeah,
I don't
what's he
know
got?
how many years. I think
Does
he's
he
got
have 2 years left?
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so either in 28 or 27 or 28 or 29. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever. I can't speak. But yeah, I don't see the Warriors. I think the Warriors are probably a lottery team or playing at
I think
best.
Charlotte's gonna be a good team. Like I don't like the Warriors over Charlotte. Charlotte,
Yeah, no. Dude, I love the Hornets, bro. I am so high on the Hornets. I thought Brandon Miller made great strides. Con Knipple was fantastic. I think he was one of the biggest shocks from the draft from this rookie class. I love Con Knipple. I think he's like a great player, and I think he was, besides Ace Bailey, probably the steal of the draft. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I
Probably,
have my bias because I'm a Jazz guy, but yeah, I was high on him before the draft. Like I loved watching him at Duke, and you could just see he's just so basketball smart, and he's gonna be the next Clay Thompson.
oh,
I don't
100%.
think he'll ever be a true one, not even maybe a true two, but like he'll be one of the best guys on a championship team, and that's Hornets deserve it. They've been in the dumps for a long time, and I think if they can get a center and kind of finish out the rotation, they'll be top six. I'm gonna say they're gonna be a 6 seed next year. I don't think they're gonna be
Yeah,
top.
I think so too. I think they'll be a lock in the playoffs. I personally had them probably the same place. I like the Hornets a lot. I like Lamelo Ball. Obviously, like he has health concerns. Like staying healthy is kind of hard for him. Brandon Miller, I think he's a bit of a question mark too. Hopefully, he can kind of step up to that next level because I think people are expecting him to become probably the number one guy on that team. Honestly, I think that's what was expected of him coming into the draft,
He's got the
that he would
talent. He's
flourish. And
shown.
he's a fantastic player. I really like him. So, and obviously, I think Kalkbrenner. I mean they don't mention him in this article, but I think he was a really underrated guy for them too. I think he played really well. So, and also Miles Bridges. I like Miles Bridges even with his off court stuff. So, and obviously, I would love to see playoff commentary from the Hornets commentator.
Oh,
That would just be
that'd be
absolute
amazing.
cinema. That'd be so great. I love him so much. He is like my favorite commentator ever.
He's the
Like,
reason there's still Hornets fans. You know they've
no,
had some
for
rough
real.
years, but
I love listening to him. So funny. I'm glad that they had him in a few college football booths last year. I was like, hopefully they keep him. I love listening to him. He's so funny. Anyways, Clippers again.
that's a good spot for them.
I
I
think
think
I think
they just
lower.
don't have much. They don't have much picks. Obviously, they got the fifth pick this year, which is huge. The whole Kawhi thing, the aspiration, like that is still to be decided. I don't think anything major is going to come from that. I honestly don't. But I mean, I just their roster is too old to really show something new for next year. But their spot that free agents will go, and so they could be
Yeah.
like Phoenix, where Phoenix is a play-in team or playoff team, but like they're going to be that 7 to 10 range. They're not going to be any higher.
No, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the lottery. I
Yeah.
think.
They got a
But
healthy
again,
Kawhi year, and he played out of his mind, and it's like they didn't make the playoffs. So
yeah, and who knows? Maybe Kawhi will be like barred from like half the season or something because of all this stuff. Who knows?
or injured. He's had so many injuries. It's not too crazy to believe he won't be playing that much.
And we'll see how
But
Darius Garland does. So be interesting to see what happens. And obviously they got Benedict Mathurin, so I like him. So it'll be cool to see what happens there. But I don't not really not really keeping my fingers crossed for them personally. I don't wouldn't be surprised if they were playing team, but also wouldn't be surprised if they were in the lottery. So Blazers, I think they should be a little higher. I think they're going to be better than the Clippers personally. I love
it's
Kawhi.
very low for a team that's just a 7 seed,
I
who's
think they'll
young
be
and has a lot of chance to grow this offseason through trades. Like I think it's a little disrespectful to Blazers fans.
I
I
agree.
think they have a good. I think they have a much better roster than the Clippers and the Warriors. Than heck, they could be better than the 76ers easy. Like I think
Right.
they're a team that's a dark horse, not to like win it all, but like to do something in the West. I could see them
They'll make
throwing
the
up.
playoffs. They'll probably be a playing. I could see them being a playing team again next season.
Yeah,
Maybe. Like I don't think they'll be above the. I don't know. They could probably be above the Nuggets. Actually, I wouldn't be
Nuggets are
surprised.
Nuggets are in an interesting spot. I won't lie.
Yeah, I think they're in limbo. Okay, 20. They got the Heat. I'm not mad at this. I think that's fine, but we'll see. I think maybe if they get Giannis, I could change. But like I said, I think they're one of those teams that after all the offseason dust settles, I think it's kind of up in the air whether or not they get Giannis.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think they'll make some big trades. I think Miami's going to be a very different team next year.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, Wilt Bam Kobe. you know, don't disrespect the second greatest scorer of all time. 83. But yeah, the Suns next.
It's honestly
I
fair. I
probably
like
could be a little lower, but who knows? I don't
the
know.
Suns will be a playing team for the next 5 years until they get a first round pick back, and that's like unfortunate how they've handled their draft picks. And their owner has been so star crazy, and that Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, all Finasco was not good for your team. Uh,
Nope.
but it's like you have Devin Booker, he's a great player. So Dylan Brooks showed a lot of like potential to be a number two, number three guy, but like I don't see you not getting swept by the Spurs or the Thunder in a lot of the years to come. Like I just don't think your roster is good enough to get further than you did. But you were
Yeah.
competitive, and that's a good thing.
Right. No, I agree. Uh, next they got our beloved Utah Jazz. Um, I think this is very disrespectful, personally. Now, not to be biased, but I think the Jazz, and maybe I'm a delusional fan, but I think the Jazz are slated to be a top five team in the West next season. I think they have a fantastic team. I mean, you got Ace Bailey, Laurie Markkinen, who was heavily disrespected in my opinion,
Yeah,
and I think you could talk to anyone, any fan in the league, and I think of the NBA, and I think they agree that Laurie Markkinen is probably one of the most disrespected, underrated stars in this league.
Yeah, he averaged 27 points on good shooting. Like
He's arguably like one of the best. He's like one of the best shooting bigs in the league. Like like, and then you got
I
Jaren Jackson Jr. Who's a defensive player of the year.
yeah,
Obviously, like people will front him for his rebounding ability. Maybe who knows? Maybe that'll change with
you pair him next to Walker
in a
Kessler, and
better system. And
you don't
yeah,
have to
with
worry about
Walker,
rebounding. Kessler averaged 13 rebounds his last full year. Like
I mean, and then you got Ace Bailey and you Keontae George who made such great strides, and then you add a Darren Peterson with a bench of Sensabaugh, Filipowski, and who knows? Maybe they
Collier,
move in Collier. Maybe they move Filipowski and Sensabaugh or Collier. I think
Nurkic,
one of
I think is they like I've read reports that he's likely to sign back. Like you have
yeah,
a
maybe,
I'm obviously I'm biased. I'm been Jazz fan my whole life. Like but I feel like those who have actually watched the Jazz have a lot different opinion than a lot of people. I think a lot of people there's a lot of small market teams like this and like
just like the
this is
Blazers.
where like I can give props to like a Charlotte because I think Charlotte's going to be a great team next year. Obviously they had the momentum this year, but like you can see it. You can see the potential on the team. And it's like a lot of like ESPN especially, they're never going to look at that. They don't care. Like they really don't care about a lot of the small markets. And it's like I think Keontae George, Larry Markin, and Jaron Jackson, even if they get a Boozer, Devonta Peterson, like those three already are a good trio. Throw in Walker Kessler and Ace Bailey, and it's like that's a good starting lineup. They have a team that can compete in the West because of their size, right? You can play a Jokic, you can play a Wemby because you have so much front court depth that it's like I think they'll be a playoff team. I don't even think they're going to be a playing team. I think they'll be a 6 or 5 seed is where I think they'll be next year because I think Will Hardy's a fantastic coach. They have a really good front office. They have a really good culture in their locker room and I think there'll be a multiple surprise teams next year, and I think Utah will be one of those bigger ones that people are surprised that they're doing good. But who knows? Who
Well,
knows what
it's how it
happens?
is
So
every season. Like they like diss on the Jazz, and then like they quote unquote overperform. So it's like I think the Jazz are like one of those teams in the West that are seriously could give the Thunder or the Spurs a scare in the
where I have
playoffs.
most my delusion, I know it was only a 3 game sample with Jaron Jackson Jr. before he was out for the rest of the season. But when Jaron Jackson and Larry Markkinen and Yusuf Nurkic, right? When those three were on the floor together, they were like a plus 14. Like they 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 were so good when they played together. And you substitute Yusuf Nurkic with Walker Kessler, it's like you can't tell me that those Jaron Jackson and Lowry Markkinen don't complement each other. And I think
Right.
you have so much potential with just that duo, let alone the other quality guys around them.
No, I agree. Anyways, let's move on from our bias here. Dallas Mavericks. Honestly, not mad at this, especially if you lose Kyrie
Cooper
Irving in the
Flag is just
offseason.
so good.
Cooper Flag's so good, but if you lose Kyrie in the offseason, I mean, maybe you could go out and get someone, but the thing is, like, it might just be Flag, and that's it. So,
I think
and
whoever they draft this
whoever they draft
year,
at 9,
yeah, it's going to be really helpful. I do think if I were to pick, like, if he's available, I would take Mikel Brown. He's got so much upside, and like that could be a really good duo with Cooper Flag. I think Dallas is 1 year off from the playoffs. I think this next year there'll be a fringe play-in because of how talented Cooper Flag is, but they do need a little bit. They need to like transition from a lot of older guys to like the youth development fully,
right?
and they'll be in a good position. Obviously, Dallas
Yeah.
is as a city has been through the ringer in the sports world recently, but Cooper
Well,
Flag is a highlight. I think
they got
he's
they
going
got
to
the
win.
Cowboys, so I mean that's just one thing by itself. So,
I think Cooper Flag will win possibly multiple MVPs though in his career. So it's
oh
like
yeah, he'll be an All NBA player next season. So,
I can
I
see it.
think I wouldn't be surprised. So, I like. I think the Pelicans need to be lower, man.
The
I think the
Pelicans
Pelicans
are
are.
such a weird team.
I think they'll be one of the worst teams in the league, bro. I think they'll be like bottom three in the West.
Do you think they finally trade Zion?
I hope they do. I think they need to.
I think
I
they
don't think
needed to trade him like 2, 3 years ago, but
I don't think it matters what they get for him at this point. I think they just need to get him off his team and they need to blow it up. And because they're just in such a weird position, they have no picks. They had the 50th pick in the draft this season. Like, I think you go out. I think you'd be smart to go trade Zion Williamson for a pick in this draft.
they have a guy like Trey Murphy too and Herb Jones. Like those are really quality wing guys
I
that
mean,
you
Derek
want to
Queen was
watch.
good. Jeremiah Fears was fantastic this season.
They have talent. It's just like I don't know. It's a weird team.
It
They
reminds, but
they underperformed for a team with not a like with no draft pick. You only won 26 games. Like
yeah, Jeremiah
that's
Fears
pretty
reminds
rough.
me. He reminds me a lot of Chris Paul on the like when he was on the when he was with New Orleans. I feel like it's like a similar situation,
Yeah.
or when Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis were on that. Like, they kind of just were like just saying like, oh yeah, New Orleans, that's cool. Like I don't know, like, and they never were like overwhelmingly successful at any point. Like they've been a pretty like sad franchise. So
I agree.
I think I think they got to make some drastic moves because I mean no one wants to go to their team obviously. So
I think
it's
it's a
like
front office change. I don't even think it's players. Like I think your coach was bad last year. I think your front office, Joe Dumars, is arguably with Nico Harrison out. He's probably the worst GM in the league, or bottom three. And it's like your
yeah,
owner is just not involved. There's a lot of question marks. Obviously, owners you can't fire an owner, but
yeah,
there is it is clear that you've had the talent for a long time and you've done nothing. And it's like that reflects that it's the leadership that's the problem.
yeah, no, for sure. And I didn't realize that Jamal Mosley was going to the Pelicans. I kind of forgot about that
And that doesn't move me
actually.
very much. I
And
don't
no,
think
that's why I'm saying like we just did some of the Magics, like how their coaching wasn't great. So I feel like it's not going to do much for you. But who knows? Maybe he'll like a Mike Brown. So we'll see. Bulls at 25. Um, yeah, I feel like the Bulls could surprise people this season, but I don't think they're going to be
they're in
great
a
this season.
rebuild. You get Caleb
So
Wilson and like you're a couple
you're
years out. But
yeah,
like
like probably 2 or 3 years out from the playoffs.
Montes Buzelos, Caleb Wilson is a really good duo. Josh Giddey's proved to be a pretty solid point guard. So it's like yeah, but you got a lot of missing pieces before you're there, but it's a bright future for Chicago. I think this is a necessary rebuild, and I'm glad they're finally doing it instead of just
Yeah,
being in the play-in every year.
I agree. Grizzlies. I think Grizzlies are going to be the worst team in the West, so I think this is too high. But
I
because
think
they're
they'll
because they're trading Jaw, they're going to be the worst team in the West. Probably
they
could
are getting
potentially.
they are getting probably Cam Boozer, so I think he does raise their floor a little bit. But
Yeah, but he's gonna be a tank commander. He's just gonna do great over there. I think he's gonna flourish and develop. But I mean, Jalen Wells was really great. Like he was definitely a big surprise this year. Zach Eady, if he can be healthy, is really great. I think a Zach Eady, Cam Boozer front court's really good. So especially in the years to come. But I just don't see them like. I think it's fine where they put them, but I don't think they'll. I think they'll probably win like 20 games. So probably kind of similar to this season. So I don't think there's much to be said here. Truthfully, Bucks 27. I agree.
it depends on what they get for Giannis. That's just
Yeah,
the question. Like it's hard to rank the Bucks uh, because of Giannis. So
yeah, I agree. And we've already talked all about the Bucks today, so I think we just kind of skimmed by that. Wizards.
that's disrespectful to the
I think that's
Wizards
kind of crazy because Trey Young and AD, and then they have Alex Sarr. I love
and the
Trey
number one
Johnson,
pick. Like
and
either
you're gonna add
Peterson,
Devonsa.
Debanza, or Boozer, maybe. It's like Debanza or Peterson is going to make you better than the 28th team in the
They'll
NBA.
be. I think the Wizards will be a play-in team. Like they'll probably be like the 10 seed potentially.
I could see them having a very similar season to Charlotte. this
Right.
year.
I agree.
But
Because like
like,
the guys haven't been together that long, so like there's not a lot of chemistry.
but for Washington, like, yeah, maybe you do finally get a healthy season out of Anthony Davis. It's like if that's true, him and Trey Young are healthy. It's like you could be a play-in or playoff team. Like those guys are really good. I think people forget how good Anthony Davis is,
And
and
Trey Young.
Trey Young has averaged over 10 assists his whole career. Like he's not a defender, no, but like you have Sarr and Davis who are good defenders, and it's like good rim protection, and you get a guy like Peterson or Devansa to help out your wing and guard depth. That is way too low. That's way too low for a team with the number one overall pick.
Yeah, especially when you add a talent like they're gonna add Devonsa. I think Devonsa is gonna be great. I think he'll probably be. Actually, we'll talk about that later. That's a different part of this. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Nets, Kings, or Knicks. I don't. I have no complaints here. I think the Nets are such a in a weird spot.
They are the obviously Indiana's probably the one that got hurt the most from the lottery, but Nets are right there. Nets and Kings. None of the guys they drafted last year are really like too game changing. Like I think a lot of those guys can develop to something like a quality role player or like a quality starter, but
Right.
they don't have the number one guy. Like Michael Porter Jr. is a great player, but he's not gonna lead you anywhere. But Sacramento, they have such a weird roster. Like they got to do something. They got to blow up something.
I mean,
And
because you got the thing is so hard because you got Zach Levine who's on a abysmal, terribly like just a horrible contract. You got DeMar DeRozan who like is good, but he just doesn't have it anymore. You know,
I did see a report that
Sabonis,
Sacramento and the Hornets have been talking about Sabonis.
which
Uh,
Sabonis on the Hornets would be good actually,
I agree. I think he'd help the Hornets a lot. He fits
especially
their
because
offense.
you'd be buying low if you're the Hornets too. Like you probably wouldn't have to give up much either. So
Yeah, we'll see though. The Sacramento and New Orleans are the two teams that are like, oh, we can win with a roster that just everybody knows can't. Like,
yeah,
those are the two teams in the NBA that I truly am at a loss of what's going on in their front office to again with the same thing as New Orleans. Like this is Sacramento hasn't been good. Like that light the beam year is the only good year I've seen from Sacramento really in my lifetime.
and you want a playoff series.
And you didn't even win a playoff series, and it's like that reflects that your ownership leadership is just all bad. And I it's hard to for me to be like optimistic for these franchises because like I'm a Jazz fan. I haven't had much to cheer for in my history of the Jazz. Neither has these teams, and it's like you have a passionate fan base that just has had so little in their lives to cheer about with these teams. And you got to do something. You got to make something happen. But hopefully the Kings land a cuff. That'd be good for them.
I know.
But
I actually hope for that. Like one Kings is like one of those teams. It's like that dog that like walks in and you're like, oh, hey there. You know, it's like all it's like scrawny and like looks like it's death embodied. You know, it's like I feel like that's how I look at the Kings. You're just like, oh man, you just like anything is like a win for them. Basically, I mean, like
especially
like the
since Mike Brown, he fired a year ago, just took the Knicks to a championship.
yeah,
Like
just won a championship. Yeah,
took away Halliburton and like I,
yeah, just bad, bro.
I hope the Kings can land their guy. I hope they
Yeah.
do. But
Well, this is the next thing I wanted to go over before we kind of wrap it up and do like our picks for the next season. Uh Mock trades. You know, I love me some draft mock trades, bro, because it's so bad. And the first one is so bad. It's so trash. It's like the one that I always like think is just stupid. I think people are so dumb for thinking that the Jazz would even do this. Just because Agent DeBonce is from Utah, or not from Utah, he's from Massachusetts, but
look, played in
you,
Utah.
you got Gilbert Arenas being like, Utah's your city. It's like, it's a state. Like, bro, Gilbert Arenas, good thing basketball worked out for you, man, because holy. It's like when Kevin Garnett on the that video I'm talking about with Kevin Garnett where he
Yeah,
like can't say what's the word he can't say in that video. Anyways, I don't remember what it is, but it's just like, bro, can't be for real. Like,
yeah.
anyways, um, so Jazz Wizards pull off first of its kind trade. So Jazz would get the first overall pick with Bub Carrington and Cam Whitmore, and they would trade the second pick, Ace Bailey, and the 2029 first round pick, which is the most favorable between Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota. Um, the Jazz are not trading Ace Bailey. They're not
No,
trading the number two pick. I think the Jazz are just content where they're at. We've talked about this
I
earlier. The
I
Jazz are
think
fine.
people are buying into this saying that like Utah will do anything to bring Debanza, and Danny Ainge has never in his whole career done anything like that for a franchise. He's always traded down. Like the only trade that if you really want Debanza that I would give is the second and one future first. Like maybe it's even just a swap, but like that's what like with the Mavs and Hawks with the Luca trade and Trey Young, like that's what that trade was the fifth pick and a first to move up to three, and it's like that's the only thing the Jazz would ever give up. Ace Bailey and AJ DeBonsa are so similar too. Like AJ has the higher ceiling, but they're very similar archetypes, and on top of that, Peterson is on the same level as DeBonsa. And so it's like you're giving up way too much if you like Washington's GM would win GM of the year if the Jazz did that trade. That's a terrible, terrible trade. Makes
Yeah.
no sense for Utah. Give up a solid
No.
young piece, the second overall pick, and then a future first. It's like it's way too much.
And it says right here the Wizards should capitalize on Utah's long reported interest in AJ DeBonsa. Like, I mean, I don't know where that's coming from because the Jazz have clearly stated that like they're chill at number two, and like it's been said that like Darren Peterson's that guy for them. Like, I don't know where this like I just think it's because BYU is in Utah and AJ DeBonsa plays for you or for BYU, so it's like I don't know. Like I think if BYU, if like I think if AJ DeBonsa wasn't playing for BYU, this wouldn't even be a thing.
No.
So I just think this is stupid. I think this is just the worst thing ever. As a Jazz fan, I think this is stupid. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
I
think
like Ace Bailey.
I think
I don't
most
care.
Jazz
Like
fans
I
would
don't care
agree.
about AJ DeBonsa. I don't even like BYU. So how about that? um. All right. Nets I Boozer after moving up to number three. All right. First off, Grizzlies are not doing this trade. I think the Grizzlies want to stay at three. I don't think they trade down
You,
for six. Obviously, like you could get two first round picks, but like
you're
I don't
just
know.
starting your rebuild, and you can get a guy like Cam Boozer. Like, stop it. Don't
Yeah,
overthink it. Don't
that's
overthink
all. That's all I have to say. I think it's stupid.
it.
This video's become hating on ESPN basically.
Well, it's like I said, ESPN does not look at small market teams.
No.
Brooklyn's a big market, and like Memphis is not, and it's like they don't actually know Memphis at all. But
I could see this trade happening. Actually,
I remember this before the trade deadline. I saw an ESPN one that was for Giannis. It was the Lakers, and it was like they kept Austin Reeves, and it was literally like Rui Hashimura, Gabe Vincent, Jake Laravia, Dalton Connect, and like one future first and two future pick swaps. And I was like, that's the stupidest trade. Like that's worse than
no,
the Luca trade. Like
guys, but Gabe Vincent is so good. No, I could see this trade happening though, because like if you're the Bucks, you probably just want to like stockpile on some, get two rookies in the
what's
first
the trade?
round. Number 10. Oh, let me throw it up on here for you. My bad, bro.
You're okay.
Uh, it's number 10. The OKC trades their two first round picks, the 12 and 17 for 10. I actually don't hate this one. I think it's pretty all right, but I
Depends
don't
on who's
know.
at 10.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of this depends on who, like, if someone falls in the draft.
If
you
it's a
know.
Mikhail Brown or a Damara, you'd be stupid to trade that to OKC.
Yeah.
But
And I think the OKC would have to trade. I think like the trade could happen, but I think OKC would have to give up more than
I
this.
agree. I agree.
So
I think they'd have to throw in like one of their young guys or like a couple of seconds or like not like one of their quality young guys, but like maybe like a Nikola Topic or something like that.
yeah, someone.
Sorber, like someone like that.
Yeah,
But
I agree. This is their Giannis blockbuster that they think is going to happen. Um, it could happen.
it's not like
I
the worst, but it's not great.
It's not a great package. I mean, Kalal Ware is pretty good. Jovic could be good. Tyler Hero, we know what he can do. It's all right. He's good player, but not fantastic, not great, not like a Giannis esque guy. I think the Celtics have a better package for him. So I don't think I personally don't think Giannis is going to the Heat, but
No,
we'll see. Um, I think it's this reason alone. This is all the like as far as draft capital goes. This is the most they can offer. So it's like they don't have as much to offer, and I think Jalen Brown is a much better player than Tyler Hero. I don't think. I think it's objective. Uh, so, and then this has been a big rumored trade to happen with the Clippers and the Kings, because of their interest in Darius Acuff Jr. and the Clippers are reportedly wanting to draft him. So I could see this trade happening.
that's one I could see. Like I said, it makes more sense than a lot of the ones that they have. Um, I could see Sacramento doing it. Like I could, and if you're the Clippers, it's like that's not a bad. If you are trying to go out and grab another star like a Jalen Brown or whatever in a three-team trade or someone like that, this is a trade that would help you because you get the additional first, and that seventh overall pick still gives you a lot of pull in the trade.
Right.
Um, so I
That still could be
and
a
it's a
decent
Minnesota
end
pick,
to
and so it's like who knows what Minnesota's going to look like in 5 years. Right? Is Anthony Edwards
Anthony
still on the
Edwards might be
team? Like,
gone. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like who knows? Who knows what Minnesota looks like in 5 years? But
Yeah, so I don't hate this trade actually. Next one, Hornets and no, the last one I should say. Um, Hornets trading for a top 10 pick, so they trade with the Mavericks. They trade their 14th and 18th pick for the ninth pick in the draft. Again, I don't hate this. I think you'd probably have to give up more if you wanted
I
to.
don't
But
love
I
it.
think
If I'm Dallas, I don't like this. I don't. I think you can draft a much better player at 9. Um, and I think you're kind of the draft like is talented throughout, and then like this is how most drafts are. But this one is like outside the lottery. A lot of the guys outside the lottery have big question marks on them, and so it's like you can get a Braden Burries, Mikael Brown, or a Daymara and put them next to Cooper Flag, and it's like you're going to be much better off. But
yeah, and I think if the Hornets did want to pull off this trade, they'd have to give up a lot more.
yeah, I
Like
agree.
I think this is like very like like you said, I think everyone in the lottery is a guy that can be a franchise changer, a franchise contributor that could, help you contribute that can help right now. So I think like if you are the Hornets, I think the Hornets this is a move that you probably would want to make if you do want to like get your team over the hump. Drafting a Daymara for the Hornets would be pretty freaking good, I think. So, but like you said, I like they have to give up more. They have to give up more if they wanted to hold this off. So, ESPN, you suck at making mock trades, bro. Like, what is this? Half of these trades probably wouldn't even go through in 2K. So, like, what is this, man?
You also suck at making power rankings.
Yeah, you guys just need to, you know, lock in a little more, bro. Like, I'm not gonna name the people by name, but it's listed in the article, so you can hate on them privately. I won't hate publicly. I'm not that type of guy.
No,
Um,
they just need to do what a lot of like YouTubers do, or like guys who are smaller who actually pay attention to other teams than the Lakers and
yeah,
the Warriors or the big markets.
L rage bait for sure. All right, last thing, what I thought would be fun to do. to wrap this up is make some early picks, like way too early picks for next season. So I'm thinking like awards. So MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year, Eastern Conference champ, Western Conference champ, and then NBA champ. So I can start. So MVP, I think my gut tells me it's probably going to be Shea again. I think Wemby could seriously be that guy though. I think the top three. I think it might be similar to this last season where you had Luca, uh, Wemby, and Shea, and maybe even Giannis. Honestly, depending on where he goes. So I think Jokic won't be there because I don't think the Nuggets are going to be a high seed next year. So I
I
just
don't
I
I, I don't see shade because of voter fatigue. And like Jokic should have 5 MVPs. If we're gonna be honest. Last 5 years, he's been the best player in the league, considerably. Um, and
right.
Shea's just won back to back, and it's like I don't think they're gonna get another one. Um, I'm gonna take a flyer on. It's not even a flyer because he's such a good player, but I think this is the if Luca doesn't get an MVP this year, it's not he's never gonna win an MVP. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Luca. He had an insane year this last year, and I think if he can have one more solid year and be healthy and stuff, I think he can. The Lakers are a top three team. He'll win the MVP. A top three
Yeah.
team in the West. I mean, not East, in the West. I think he'll win.
Fair enough. I think I would pick Luca too. I think, but just to be different, I'm gonna go with Wemby
Yeah.
because I also do think it could happen too. So I'm not. Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's be Wemby. I think if it went the right way, I think Wemby would like have every single Defensive Player of the Year. I think he should have won it his rookie year, personally.
In case he doesn't hit the 65 game rule, I'm going to say I think a guard is going to win.
I think
I,
Asar Thompson.
I think Asar Thompson is going to be the one to win DPOY if Wemby doesn't hit the requirements for it. That's the only reason he doesn't win it. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm just riding the Wemby bandwagon right now. So, Rookie of the Year, I think it's Debonsa. I think it's I think where he's gonna. I think only because like where he's gonna be at the Wizards, he's automatically gonna be a starter. Darren Peterson, he could be a question mark. Maybe the Jazz go with Ace Bailey and they leave Darren Peterson on the bench.
and I
So
think
I
the
think
Jazz are going to be a lot more competitive, so it's hard for a rookie to be the number one guy. And a lot of rookie of the years are the number one guys on their team.
right.
So
I think it'll be a toss up between Debonsa and Boozer because I think Boozer will put up some crazy stats on the Grizzlies. But I think AJ Debonsa is gonna get it though.
I think Boozer's such a statistical like he fills the stat sheet, and I think Boozer's going to be the one that takes it home. I think he is going to be the number one option in Memphis right away, and I think he's going to win it. So
Yeah.
that's who I have.
All right. Eastern Conference. Who's coming out of the East? I think this is
Depends on
barring
the
that
Celtics.
this is barring it. This is where I put an asterisk on this. If the Celtics get Giannis, I think it's the Celtics.
If the Celtics don't get Giannis, it's the Knicks.
I think it's the Knicks or the Pistons. I think the Pistons could make some.
Pistons are also a question mark because it's like if they make quality offseason moves, it's like they can compete with the Knicks.
I think it's either the Celtics or the Pistons, though. So I'm playing Celtics if they get Giannis. If they don't get Giannis, I think it's the Pistons.
I'll stick with the Knicks. They just won. Well, Brunson, such a playoff riser. OG Anunoby turned into Kawhi Leonard. Like,
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Western Conference, though, I think this is a big thing. I I think the Spurs are gonna be back, bro. I think the Thunder. I think Wemby just hates the Thunder so much. It's just he's never gonna let them have success while he's in the West. So
I could see a scenario that maybe the Thunder are like it was a couple years ago where they're like 1, 2, and 3 was all neck and neck throughout, and then
Yeah.
they're like a 2 seed, and the Spurs are a 3 seed, or vice versa, but like really close with the number 1 seed. I think it's those two teams by a long shot at the moment. However, I do think there are some teams who can be dark horses. I think if the Lakers have a productive offseason, they can have a shot there. I think if the Nuggets have a productive offseason, they're still in there. Minnesota, if they're trying to get a second star, if they can get a second star next to Anthony Edwards, that's not Julius Randle. It's like I could see the Timberwolves coming out of the West, but we'll see.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's hard to go outside those two, the Thunder and the Spurs, though, because it's like there's so many question marks on all these other teams, whereas those two teams don't have the question marks. They're already pretty set.
Yeah. So who you got right now? No one
I'm
will
gonna
flame
go. I'm
you.
gonna I'm gonna go OKC.
Okay, see. Okay. And then who
Not
do
that
you
I like
think?
them,
Who
but
do you think repeats? Do you have, since you got Knicks and Thunder finals? Do you think do you think Knicks repeat, or do you
no.
think this? Do you think
I
Thunder
think I
take
think
it?
the Thunder. I think the Thunder would beat the Knicks.
Yeah, I think in the Spurs Celtics or Spurs Pistons final, I think the Spurs win.
Yeah, Pistons make the finals. I don't think they'll win because the same thing the Spurs this year. I
No,
think
yeah, I
Spurs,
agree.
and I
I
think
agree.
that's going to be the key difference.
I'm just so high on the fact that the Spurs, they're a young team that honestly probably should have won the finals if they just didn't fall apart in the second half. I think that they're going to learn from that, and I think they're going to rampage this next season. I think they're going to absolutely dominate. I think they're going to win 65 plus games again next season. Like I think, or not again. I think they're going to win 65 plus games this next season, and I think they're going to be a dominant team in the West. And I think they're going to be the one that you have to go through if you want to make it to the finals.
Yeah,
Because I just don't see any way that I just think the Thunder, like they got it, bro. But like Chet Holmgren's really got to make some strides if they want the Thunder to be if the Thunder are going to be contenders again.
yeah. Another one I'm curious to hear your prediction on, and this is a award that you don't really. It's hard to predict, but most improved player. Who would be your guess?
Um,
Who do you think's gonna have a breakout
who
year?
I think you want to say like I'm trying to think of like an underground, like a guy who was underground. Um, I hate to give it to second year players because I think you can't really give it to a second year player because I think they're already expected to improve. So I think it's just kind of stupid that like second year. I think second year players should need to be in contention for most improved
Yeah,
because like yeah, you're supposed to get better. So it's like I think of like the Nikhil Alexander Walkers and the Laurie Markkinens and like these players who like come out of nowhere. And I think Darius Garland is a serious contender for most improved. Him or Jalen Green. I think
could see Jalen Green.
I think either
I
one of them could be a contender.
I'm actually gonna go with a guy on the Clippers. I think Matherin can have a big role on a team. Uh,
Matherin.
he had flashes in that finals, and he's had flashes. He's so streaky that it's hard. But I think another guy, I know it's year 3, but I can see Ricochet having a lot better year. I think he's a guy that, yeah, redraft, he's not going to be anywhere in the top 10 probably, but I still think he's got a lot of potential. And if Quinn
Yeah,
Snyder uses him right over in Atlanta, like I think you can have it. But I think Matherin's gonna be my pick for that pick.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you've heard it here, folks. This is our picks. So when we react to this next year, if that even happens, um, you can flame us right now, or I guess you can flame us in the future. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see this next season. Will be I think this next season will probably be one of the best seasons in a while. I think we keep having heaters after heaters. Like, I mean, like I said, I think Adam Silver's been cooking with the script, man. So I think,
This next year, I agree with you because I think the West is such a gauntlet already, and I think next year the East is going to be a gauntlet.
right,
There's so many more good teams in the East next year than there were this year, and I
yeah,
think that's going to be a big thing. and it's gonna be good basketball. There's gonna be
Excited.
a lot of good teams. So
I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, next time you see us, it's gonna be the NBA draft. We'll talk about do one more. We'll do a big mock draft and kind of do our predictions of what we think will happen. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and then obviously after the draft, we'll kind of see what happens there. So
give some grading and thoughts on team.
yeah, exactly. So hopefully someone watches this. If not, this is what I say every time. Just me two dudes talking to themselves, and I'm totally content with that. So
Yeah, talking basketball can never go wrong with it. So
no skin off my back. Anyways, you made it to the end. Thank you. We love you. No homo. So see you later. Peace.